And we're back.
To the whichever one this is podcast. Yeah.
This is definitely... Oh, I hope it is. This is definitely the Co-Pilots podcast.
Oh, but I watched a film.
Oh,
Just kidding. That hasn't happened yet, but it will.
It was like a joke, but not funny because it's true.
It'd be like a much better joke if we hadn't already made it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Maybe that's the running joke of this show, though, is that the joke never is funny, but Christ do we milk it.
That's true. I do like milking.
So, the shows today, then.
Happiness
We asked
is what
Google...
we went for.
We asked Google what was similar to The Handmaid's Tale, and it offered us Dollhouse. And having watched both of them, I'd probably say Google's a bit wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't just ask Google things and expect it to tell you the right things.
Yeah, you're right. I should have asked Jeeves.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he would probably just be like, nothing is better than The Handmaid's Tale. Why are you even trying? Just watch that on repeat forever. But should we get Dollhouse out of the way?
I think we should start with Dollhouse. So, Dollhouse. What is Dollhouse? Dollhouse is a TV show that was created by
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon of Buffy the Vampire Slayer fame.
And I think he's
Avengers.
done something else, yeah.
I think he's probably washed his face. I think he was involved in Toy Story. I'm pretty sure he might have been one of the writers on Toy Story.
Oh, well, that would explain Dollhouse.
Hang on. Hey, I get it. Joss Whedon, Toy Story. I may have completely made that up. He rewrote the script for Toy Story.
Oh.
Because apparently it had a really bad script until he rewrote it. So that's nice.
Well, he maybe could have done that with this.
And it reunites some familiar faces from his group of people that he uses quite a lot. Eliza Dushku, who's in Buffy, and Amy Acker, who was in... I think she's in Angel, because I recognised her, but I was like, you're definitely not in Buffy. She might be... I think she plays a character called Fred.
Oh. The thing is, there's a lot of people in this that I recognise, but I don't know where I recognise them from. Actually, isn't How I Met Your Mother? That might be where I recognise her from.
Oh, there's probably a fair bit of crossover here.
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh, yep.
Oh, and I've just realised the dude who's
And
the
Once
tech
Upon a
guy...
Time.
The guy who's the tech dude in Dollhouse, he is the stoner guy in Cabin in the Woods. Have you seen Cabin in the Woods?
Is that the one where it's all a bit fake?
I mean, to completely give away the plot. Yes.
Cool. Then yes, I have.
Amazing. Anyway, so what is Dollhouse?
Not very interesting. Mostly. But I mean, it's about people who get... The thing, it kind of drops you in and doesn't really explain entirely what's going on straight away, which I like about TV shows. But this one makes it reminds me a lot of Orphan Black.
Yes. I made that comparison in my notes that I wrote and didn't rip in half.
Yeah, no, because with that, it's one actress gets to play lots of different roles. And this has Echo doing the same-ish, except she is just becoming different people rather than the actress doing lots of different people in the same show.
So my understanding of it, or this is what I think, is they've taken the personalities from various people and they sort of meld them together to make the most appropriate personality for the mission they're being sent on to do.
Yeah.
But they believe that the dolls, or the actives as they like to call them, once they wipe their memory, it completely rids them of all traces of that personality. But what we start to see is there might be a bit more retention than they think, because Echo starts to remember.
She starts to remember stuff about the
previous.
Dollhouse.
Yeah.
But then I think she's also remembering stuff from the memories they've put in to make her good at what she's doing in the kidnapping case. Because they're just like, oh, also, yeah, one of the people was maybe a little bit molested as a kid.
Yeah.
And we've accidentally put you face to face with that person. It's just like, oh, you fucked up. And also, it's just like, I don't know. It's one of those things that just sort of, it's almost like Black Mirror, where you just technology just, in this sense, just makes me kind of uncomfortable. But I know that this is bullshit.
Yeah, completely. It does have a little Black Mirror, at least a bit more cheerful, a bit lighter-hearted than Black Mirror.
Yeah, well, I mean, Black Mirror gives itself an hour to be like, hey, look how cool this technology is, and look how fucked up you'll end up if you use it.
Mm.
But I mean, to be fair, with Black Mirror, I've been watching a lot of people like trying to link the universe of Black Mirror together and make like a timeline.
And it's just like an anthology series.
Well, that's the thing. There are references to other things in each episode, so they kind of link together. But then there's just like a couple episodes that are just they're like, we don't know how these would fit because they reference things that have happened, but also give hints that they're before other things have happened, but the technology just doesn't make sense. So we're gonna say these happen in like a bubble universe where it's all really weird. But they're really interesting to watch. I does recommend those.
Yes. So what do you think of Dollhouse? Well, Black Mirror's great.
Well, yeah, at the same time as watching Dollhouse, I was watching Black Mirror fan theories and stuff. It was... Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the problem I had is that I just didn't care.
That's... Yeah.
I'm interested in... I mean, to be fair, it gives you a really good reason to do, like, Monster of the Week stuff. Like, that makes it easy, because you just go, oh, we can just think of any crime and be like, well, we've built a doll to fix this. But then I suppose the only interesting thing is her getting over her amnesia-ish stuff to remember and slowly realise what's actually happening.
Now there's a sticking point, is amnesia.
The thing that they've masked it as she's been wiped for... They've given it a reason to have happened.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's used in a sort of more creative way than just, oh, she just can't remember. At least it's like, okay, well, this is what's happening, and this is why.
It's very much like she can't remember, and then when she does, we'll make sure she doesn't remember anymore. But I mean, to be fair, the actual, if you ignore like all the Dollhouse stuff, the actual crime negotiator stuff was quite good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was interesting, and the whole you can't fight a ghost thing. How she turns that around is quite nice. Like how she starts sort of almost malfunctioning, and she keeps saying the phrase "you can't fight a ghost" over and over again. And then when she's confronting the abuser who abused the person whose personality she's taken on, because she knows everything and is confronting him after the fact, she then says, "Look, you can't. I'm a ghost. You can't fight a ghost."
Yeah, and then Sierra rocks up and just like kills everyone who was alive, and just like there were gunshots, and we made a call.
I tell you what is quite intriguing is the fact that Sierra clearly doesn't particularly like Echo in that little exchange there, but Sierra being another one of the actives. But in a different episode, they could be best mates because obviously they take on different personalities. So that'd be quite interesting to see, like the relationships between.
Yeah, you could have interesting character dynamics, even with people outside of it. Because that's what I'd be interested if they meet. Like, if Echo meets the same person twice, but with two completely different personalities, and no recollection of the meeting. Like, if you met the same person like 3 or 4 times, you'd just be like, what the fuck? Are you a clone?
Yeah.
And they're just like, I've watched Orphan Black, I know what goes on.
But what's the sort of gradual recognition as the memory sort of are buried slightly deeper and prove to be harder to get rid of.
Yeah, I mean,
So
to be
then
fair,
they start-
also
yeah.
I think because I'm guessing Echo's probably like the fifth, because I'm assuming that they're named phonetically after the alphabet. So
then Sierra would, potentially be a slightly more developed. Do you think, like a newer version?
well, no, that's the thing, because they're all. I'm guessing because it's all the same technology, so they'd be as good. Although they might have worse initial wipes.
Yeah.
That's probably the only thing. So maybe Echo will get to retain a bit more of her. But it must be an interesting job, isn't like to be an actor, being like, all right, cool. So each week I have completely different character,
Yeah.
and in each episode you'll play at least two. You'll play like Dollhouse, Echo, and whatever
A different
ends
version.
up.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. That's something I did write in my notes, like these multiple personality. And I was thinking of Orphan Black, but these multiple personality roles must be a gift for actors. But well, you said that.
I mean, if you think about Split as well for James McAvoy, got to play 27 characters in however long that film is. Which reminds me, it's on Netflix now, so I need to watch it.
He didn't do all 27. Is that the character has something like 27 different personalities, and he stays in about 5 or 6. You see 5 or 6 explicitly in the film. There's a bit where a character finds some computer files, and there's like 27 different videos, and each one of them there's a little snippet of him being someone else.
So theoretically, if you're doing this on TV, you might get to do more. Because how many episodes are there? What, 13? Like 26, maybe? Unless they get to a point and they just go, oh, fuck, we can't wipe her.
Yeah.
Which I think if
That would be
that'd be a real cop-out, I think. Oh, I just punched my desk.
Don't do that.
Well, no, I think I would lose interest very quickly if they sort of went, okay, cool, now you're stuck as this one personality. It'd be like, cool, close.
But yeah,
Okay, that's that they're essentially at that point getting rid of the uniqueness of the show.
Yeah, I guess. But let's be honest. Neither of us are going to find out. Oh wait, I don't think we're going to watch any more of this. Are you going to watch any more of this?
I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to kind of see. I'm tempted to watch the next episode to see what happens.
Because you got the whole. Is he an FBI agent? The guy who's looking to hunt them down. He's trying to find out more about what Dollhouse is. So that.
I completely forgot about that entire plot thread.
Oh, man. I tell you what, I'm done. I'm done with Dollhouse. There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I might watch a little bit of it, and then
we've definitely had worse pilots on this show.
Yes, Entourage.
It's not quite as bad as I would put this quite a few pegs above Entourage.
I think it's not top 5. I mean, to be fair, of the 6 shows we've done this year, it's 6th. What else have we done this year?
Remind myself of what we've done. It's dead 6th.
Yeah, well, I've watched a bit more. Did I tell you I finished Atypical?
I think you told me you were watching it. Didn't know you finished it.
Yeah, I finished it. All 2 seasons of it. So I got to the end of season 1 and was like, yeah, that was fucking wicked. And then went, oh, there's a season 2. Play. Yeah, no, it's really good. I really enjoyed it. It's very, very good.
Oh, cool.
Everything I hoped about it from the pilot was true of the rest of the show, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, good. That is encouraging. Sweet.
Yeah, turns out, when I said I don't like the mum, I was right. She's a dick.
I'm assuming she continued the affair. I'm amazed that I can remember talking about Atypical, because we recorded that quite some time ago now.
Well, yeah. We were pretending that we were going to have Christmas. Pretending that we've already had Christmas.
I should have to go back and edit it now and say, oh yeah, the popcorn maker was lovely to receive. Thank you very much.
The mug you made me open in front of my family was great.
Have we told that story?
No.
No, okay, so Christmas comes along and I get a parcel from Rich, and I think, oh, that's very nice. He said, okay, there's something in there for you, something there for Lisa. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, and I only wrapped the box because otherwise it was just a Brewdog crate, and I was like, oh.
I got to be
Can't
honest,
just send that.
I'd forgotten that you'd said that. So when I opened it and saw it was like a crate of Brewdog, and I said, "Oh, brilliant, we got beer." And I was like, "Oh no, this feels considerably lighter than 12 bottles of beer."
Oh no, he's just
So
send us some actual presents.
I've had to throw out loads of mugs recently because our mug
I
cupboard
know Lisa
was
told
getting
me.
too full. It was ridiculous. I was getting angry, so we smashed them and put them in the bin.
In my defence, the last time I was in Southampton, one of the last few times I was in Southampton, you and Lisa were complaining about mugs.
Yeah, we did that a lot.
But do you know, I'd already ordered them and was like, just sat there like, wow.
Yeah, but
They're
that makes
mugs
it
from me.
that makes it funny. Exactly. So we kept yours, obviously. But so then, yeah, I say to, "Oh, is this parent friendly?" And the reply comes, "Yeah, definitely."
No. I said, yeah, it should be.
Should be. Right. So there I am, Christmas Day, with my mum and dad, and my grandmother, and my grandmother's partner, who, they're of an older generation that doesn't quite appreciate our sense of humour. So when I open up a mug that in the Game of Thrones font says "There's no cure for being a cunt,"
I mean, to be fair, I didn't know how your family felt about the word cunt. My family were in hysterics when I told them what was happening at yours.
not
Because I straight away got a text just like, "You told me this was family friendly, you cunt." I was just like, oh, how do they feel about the word bullshit?
I was like, yeah, that's fine. We could show them that one. But I opened the mug, and I was like, he said it's parent friendly, but I will just have a check myself. So as I'm pulling it out of the bubble wrap, I see like the O that's got the distinctive, typeface of Game of Thrones, of like on the "There's no." And as soon as I read "There's no," I was like, "I know what this is. I can't show you this." And I had to hide it back in the box. Mum was going, "Oh, go on, show us." My nan was like, "Yeah, definitely, Joe, show us." I'm like, "No, I'm not showing you this."
Lisa said it was very entertaining watching you trying to hide it from everyone.
Anyway, so that was Christmas. And I what happened to your Christmas present from me when you went to Hastings to spend it with your family? What did you do with the present from me? Fucking left it in London, didn't you? Fucking left it behind.
But then I got back 2 days after Christmas, still had presents to unopen. I just sat there wrapping them back up. It's like, years.
I'll save these for next year, and then everyone will have to wait twice as long for me to open all of mine.
Yeah, and obviously you got your annual
Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
No, we spoke about this on the Co-Directors podcast.
Yes, because that's about films, not about
mugs
from TV shows.
Speaking of TV shows,
yes, let's
come
back down. Let's go
cheer
from where
up.
we just were.
Let's perk up
all
a
that
bit
laughter
now.
and just ooh.
With a tale of oppression and
just
heavily
badness.
enforced religious doctrine.
I'd go as far to say as a cult.
Jesus Christ! Right, so The Handmaid's Tale is based on a novel by Margaret Atwood.
Okay, so quick, when did you think this was set?
Well, I'll go into this. I had heard it was the story that The Handmaid's Tale was sort of getting traction in popular culture, and I think it was because the TV show came out that I was like, oh, I might give that a go, because Margaret Atwood, for some reason, in my head, was sort of almost like an author like Maeve Binchy, or like an older female author who wrote for an older female audience. And then I heard that she'd actually written this this story about an oppressive regime, and I was like, I've had it completely pegged wrong in my mind all this time. So then I got the audiobook for Handmaid's Tale, and I listened to about 2 hours of it, and I loved it. It might be more than 2 hours, but I listened to it and I loved what I heard. It's dark as fuck, but pretty much what I listened to was everything that was in this pilot, and then the pilot went a little bit further than how far I'd got in the book. So I knew it was set present time, but I can understand. Are you about to say you thought it was oldie worldy?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Because of the dress. Right, because all I'd seen was, I hadn't seen a trailer, I'd just seen like stills. And I was like, oh, I'm not super interested No, I was just like, I'm not super interested in that because it's like this old timey like period piece, and I've seen enough of them, and I haven't got room for another Poldark.
That's coming to Netflix soon. I found out.
Pretty sure the first 3 seasons are already on Netflix now.
Oh really? Oh, perhaps there's a new series then. Anyway, there's a Twitter account called New on Netflix UK, which is quite handy to follow if you want to find out what's leaving and what's coming to Netflix. But anyway,
I think just follow it under like the Co-Pilots podcast one, and then I'll get all the notifications too.
Okay.
So I check that occasionally, even though it's just following like loads of like accounts like the BBC and like Netflix and stuff.
Okay. Handmaid's Tale then. So in the not too distant future, there's an issue with sterilization in the human race. I assume in the human race in America anyway. So, the society has adopted a sort of a more puritanical view of religion and of how society should behave. So it's reforming back to almost Puritan Britain style sort of clothing. So it's a simple dress, no skin, and very little flesh shown apart from your face. The thing that I found weird is that it doesn't seem to be the whole country. Because towards the end of the pilot, she's just like, "Oh, I tried to get to Maine," and it's like, that's just another state. I guess it's possibly it's.
And also, they're talking about a war, so I'm guessing there's a civil war of some description that's just not explained in the pilot.
I'm not sure. I think that's the case, but I think because Offred, she lived before this regime was put into place, so this is happening it's been quite a quick turnaround to go from where we are now into very right wing, fascist states.
Yeah, Trump's America.
Yeah. So the rare people, I just caught what you said up. There's a rare group of women who are not affected by the sterilisation, so they are dubbed handmaids and given red robes and a white, well, they call them white wings, don't they, to cover their
it's like a
faces.
Like
very
very early on, it just seems more like a class system than anything else. You've got like the wives of the like generals, and then it's just like, and then anyone else falls somewhere, and like handmaids seem to be very high up the chain because like they're fucking breeders.
Well, I think they're protected because they're an important resource, but they're not necessarily treated well.
Yeah, it's like that sort of they're as close as you can get. Apart from maybe the aunts, actually. Yeah, but they seem to be more part of like the military-ish side of things.
I think,
I don't know, it seems real complicated. And this is, again, like, these two shows are essentially linked by the fact that they just kind of go, here's a world, fucking work it out.
Yeah, that's true. And the things that I've always thought about, particularly world building, like in Harry Potter, it's the little details that are similar to our world, but slightly different. So it's the speech that gets me in this, is the fact that, when you're greeting someone, you say, blessed day, and if you're just basically saying, oh, all right then, you say, praise be, may the Lord, that's it, blessed be the fruit, and then the reply to that is, may the Lord open. All that sort of real creepy...
Yeah, that fucking Charles Manson shit. Because, like, until they started talking about, like, they were like, oh, the war's going well, and I was like, what war?
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, this is a cult, but then you see the scale of it.
Yeah, no,
and they're talking about, like, oh, the zones and stuff, and I was like, oh, Jesus.
So, yeah, we followed Offred and Offglen, who is played by Rory from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, do you know, I didn't realise she was in this.
Really? So coming to this completely blind. So when you saw like they were wearing the red and the white, you had no idea what was going on until they do the ceremony.
Yeah, and then I sort of figured it out because they kind of allude to it earlier on, where they're like, oh, like because they have the scene with the aunts before the ceremony where they're sort of like, oh yeah, like you're lucky you can breed. And it's like, oh cool, these girls are fucked, or they're gonna be.
That's actually, it's funny you say that, because in the book that's exactly how she wrote it. Margaret Atwood, it turns out, is one of those authors that when you read, or have read to you her work, you just think there is fuck all point me even picking up a pen, because I will never be able to write a sentence as beautiful and dark as that. But she says actually when Offred's going through the ceremony, so the handmaid lies on the bed on the lap of the wife, the sterile wife of the general. So she's describing the scene. She says, I'm lying on, because it's all first person perspective, so from Offred's point of view, she says, I'm lying on the bed on the lap of Mrs. Waterford, who is kneeling up, staring straight ahead at her husband. And then the next sentence says, beneath me, the commander is fucking. And then she goes into a thing saying, I say that because this is not the act of making love. He is not looking at me. He's looking at, this is not love. He is fucking. That's what it is. It's a mechanical thing. And that just has really stuck with me. Like, as soon as I saw we were doing Handmaid, I was like, oh, that's gonna be hers. And it's put across so well, because she numbs herself to it. So she's staring at the ceiling. The commander's just looking
anywhere but her. He's looking
her,
at his wife,
yeah.
or like off to the side, but never at her.
Yeah. And it's just dark. It's horrific.
Yeah, like I didn't like it. Was I didn't like that.
I don't think you're supposed to. The bit that made me feel worse is after that is she is then dismissed. She goes back up to her room, and then she says, like, she's sat on the bed, I think, and she's feeling a bit ugh, as one would imagine you would be after going through such a horrendous thing. And then she says, I can feel the commander's cum running down my leg. And then the bit that really got me is when she goes, I can smell it. And then she runs out to try and she dry heaves. Then she goes, oh my god. Oh.
Yeah. And then there's like...
Foul.
But the thing is, because there's so many... It seems like there's so many little bits of plot. Because there's the whole... She's trying to find her daughter.
Yeah.
Essentially. And then...
But she recognises Moira from her student days, who's also in the Handmaids.
Yeah, and then there's what now appears to be a budding friendship between Offred and Rory.
Yeah, Offglen.
Where Rory?
Do you know why they're called Offred and Offglen?
Is it something to do with like whoever their man is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cool. That's shitty.
I think so. But that's why I love that the episode ends with it opens with saying, "My name is her name." She says, "My name is dangerous. It's a secret. I can't live it." And then she makes the decision over the arc of this episode that she's had enough, and she's finished it saying, "Her name is Hannah. My name is June." Oh, that's proper wicked. But
it's watching all of these. There's like a scene where her and Rory are talking.
I like how you're sticking with this. She is Rory. She's not Offglen.
Oh yeah, like no, I can't. It's like when you first started seeing Daniel Radcliffe and things after Harry Potter. Until Horns, he was Harry.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, Nick the gardener. He's in Horns, and I have a point to make about Nick because it wound me up. But continue with yours. Sorry.
And there's just a scene of like June and Rory talking. And then, like, Rory just sort of goes, "Oh yeah, no, they're good at making us mistrust each other."
I wrote that line down because it's a fantastic line.
And because like 20 minutes before that, June's there just like, "Fucking pious bitch!" Like, I hate her so much. We're not even friends. We've barely spoken 50 words to each other. But then there's also that really like, there's just a little bit of me that's like, Rory went to Yale. She's smart. This could be a double bluff. And it's like there's so many just like it's you can just read so much into like one line, and it's like they're good at making us mistrust. And it's like, but should she trust that or continue her like mistrust? And then she's like, "Oh, there's an eye in your house," and I was like, "There's loads of people. There's fucking loads of ice." But I think it's implied that they're like a SS style thing.
You see one handmaid not sort of conforming, so she's taken away, and she comes back, and they've taken one of her eyes out.
Yeah,
So
I'm assuming they had the name
imagine
before that.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's.
Or do they just pass
That's
it
what
around
happened.
to whoever's dealing with a handmaid? Just like, take this, remind them.
Just quick before we get onto my main discussion point, I want to get onto because I was amazed. Nick, the gardener.
Yes. Isn't he a driver? I thought.
Well, he was shoveling some gravel into a wheelbarrow, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So-
I suppose. Yeah.
Here's my gripe with that.
Why did he have to move it? Why can't you
That-
just walk around it?
That is a tiny pile of gravel. It's clearly not come from a bigger pile of gravel because it's a very contained pile of gravel. Why is it there? Why is it taking him so long to shovel it? As someone who shovels a lot of stuff for a living, it really wound me up the way that he was shoveling it and making a pig's ear of it. Because it's like, mate, it's a fucking tiny pile of gravel that has no business being there because there's nothing else around it that has gravel near it.
Isn't the whole driveway gravel?
No.
Oh. Well, I think the clear answer here is that he's the one who's spying on.
Yes.
Clearly,
See,
obviously.
you know, you want succinct, concise, but very accurate film reviews. You go to Kermode and Mayo. You want to discuss why the fuck people are doing their gardening wrong. You come to Co-Pilots.
Yeah. Which is a really weird selling point.
So
Do we now have to like just make sure there's a gardening scene in every TV show we watch, so that you can analyse their gardening techniques?
It's going to be very difficult. It would have been very difficult for Star Trek.
Yeah. No,
Right,
they're terraforming. That's like
It's like big
gardening.
gardening.
Yeah, it's like God's gardening.
So the part of the book I got to was pretty much just after the ceremony. So the bit where they then go to the they call it something else, don't they? The particution or something, where they all participate in the execution.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's the thing. They said the word, and I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" And then she was like, "Right now, you fucking kill him." And I was like, "Oh, I see."
Okay, that was it. But it's the several things about this. The hypocrisy of he's being sentenced to death because he's committed rape, which I'm not necessarily entirely against. But then the officials are doing that every month to the handmaids. So how come he's different? How come he can be charged and sentenced to that when, there's clearly an injustice there, which is, probably going to build to something. But,
Yeah, I mean, the injustice there is that if you call it religion, it's okay.
Yeah. But the more interesting part, and this is where I put on my film student-y brain, and I'm actually quite pleased with what I came up with, is so the reason that I think the state allows that form of execution. So the guy's in the middle, he's on his knees, the handmaids all surround him, and then Aunt Lydia says, "When I blow my whistle, do what you like. It's up to you. You can absolutely do whatever it is. It's up to you. You do what you feel you want to do."
It's like
When
a
I blow
purge
my
thing
whistle,
sort of thing, isn't
it
it?
starts. This is my point, right? So the whistle blows, they all go mental, including Offred, who goes like seemingly the most mental.
Well, I mean, to be fair, she's just found out that one of her friends from before is dead.
Well,
Well,
they say she's
supposedly,
dead.
yeah.
So she goes in, and they basically tear this guy apart, and I think it's a real clever method of control, because that form of execution, it allows any sort of built up aggression or resentment towards the doctrine, towards the religion, towards the state. It's all expunged in one huge violent act, and that's going to have a significant emotional drain. So once all the pressure is built up, it's then released by the state, and that means they don't have the power to then rise up against them.
Yeah.
So, but
I imagine people probably mostly try and escape and are either successful or dead.
Yeah.
I imagine there's not a lot of
organisation.
Well, there's clearly there's not a lot of it's like people sort of going like, oh, I'm gonna escape for myself.
Yeah,
but there's no.
But I think this goes some way to help that, because any sort of, spark of rebellion is going to be extinguished because they're allowed this tiny window of freedom where they can do what they want in between these whistle blasts. And I think the way that it's shot, it really felt to me that it's the entire way through the pilot, Offred she's sort of going through the motions. So she's going up to Offglen and saying, "Praise be, may the Lord," blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. But in her head, she still has that dissent. So she's still like, "No, I'm not going with this. I'm not doing this. I'm defiant in my own ways. In my mind, I can be defiant." But the fact that she completely participates fully in the execution, that's when they've won. I think they've got into her emotions. The state has managed to control her emotions when she's only allowed them to control her actions so far. So she participates fully.
That also seems to be the trigger for her talking more sort of candidly with Rory, and then has her affirmation that she is June.
Yeah, it leads to her sort of.
So it seems to be
empowerment.
Like, even if the state has gotten into her and been like, "Fuck you, do what we say," and has then also just gone, "Oh wait," and she's just noticed it and then gone, "Well, fuck you."
Yeah.
And then it makes the rest of it seem so open-ended, because like, is she gonna just find her daughter and escape, or is she gonna try and like help everyone else? And then how much of the other characters do we get to see if she does leave?
Yeah, this is the thing. The whole way through, when I was listening to the audio and then again watching this, I could not predict where the next episode's gonna go. I can't predict where the next moment's gonna go, and that's wicked.
Yeah, and also like, I kind of want to, because what I liked is that they're sort of putting in these sort of like real short flashbacks, and I quite like the idea of it also getting to see a bit of what led them to this state of things.
Yeah.
Like, not so much like the sterilization thing. You can just kind of tell me that, and I'll be like, okay, cool. Like, that's the thing in this world. But it's like, I want to see how it got to this point where it's like there's almost, I'm guessing maybe like a state controlled by this group. And it's like, how does it get to that point? Like, because like, a nation being sterile is not doesn't instantly just go, "Do you know what we need? Civil war." Well, or maybe it does. I don't know. I've never lived in a nation that's gone sterile. So.
No. Well, perhaps it's just the panic of it has made people more sort of more. I can't think of what the descriptor is, but like,
what do you think? It's maybe like one group that were already they already existed and were practicing this way of life anyway,
and
just saw a chance and went,
"Yeah,
oh, do you know what?" And other people might join willingly, because some of the handmaids don't look like they're not into it.
Yeah, that's true. There's the couple like, in the shop, and then there's the other one.
And they're all in masks, but it's all like, everything you see is a mask. So
yeah, I'm 100% gonna be watching more of this.
Yeah, so am I.
And I've already pegged this for one of my top 5.
Yeah. It's just a shame that Rory didn't do anything. Wasn't in any of the shows we watched last year. Otherwise, she might have been able to get like 3 years in a row from you.
But no, you said something actually, and before, I think it's just before we start recording, is the fact that you still get those really blue eyes from Alexis Bledel.
There's something weirdly hypnotic about it. I don't know what it is.
Well, the thing that I was thinking before this, she manages, I don't understand how, but she really manages to convey, towards the end anyway, fear. Well, at the start she's conveying fear just through her eyes. By the end, it's fear and it's anger just through her eyes. And I couldn't believe it. Do you know what? At points I completely forgot that she's Rory.
No, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Well, this is what I'm saying. For us, because of how much we love Gilmore Girls, I think that's absolutely credit to her
Oh,
acting
it's a
abilities.
new year. I can start watching Gilmore Girls again.
We've already started.
Oh, really? Because I kind of got to a
we're not
point last year
very
that I was like, I've already watched it like twice this year. I should probably stop. But now
yeah,
it's a new
no.
year, so I can start again. But no, I really enjoy.
100%
I've
watched.
literally just bought it. Like
Well, the whole
bought season 1 on Amazon.
How much was the whole thing? I might have to have a look at that.
It's like
Tenner?
20 quid.
Oh, is it?
I bought it HD because
I always buy in HD when we buy stuff for the podcast. I always buy it HD.
I don't want to buy SD,
until
but
I get paid.
I think. Yeah, no, because I saw Alexis Bledel in the starring, and I was like, yeah, HD. Got to get me them blues, man. No, Handmaid's Tale was incredible. I would be surprised if it wasn't in my top 5 of the year.
Ooh, I could get the first series for $17.50. I might actually do that. But no, sorry, because big news. Castle Rock has come to Amazon Prime, so I'm going to be watching that next. That's going to be my next series once I finish Peep Show again.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm actually, apart from the things I'm currently watching, I think I can. Oh shit! There's all that stuff from last year that I said I was going to watch. I need to Luther. That's the next thing I'm going to tackle.
Oh, we're watching that for our neighbour night.
Ooh.
I can't decide if it's good or if it is one of the worst written pieces of shit I've ever seen.
What, Luther?
Yeah, the writing is really. You have to watch it to get it, but Jesus Christ, the writing is it's a bit. It's overwritten, I think. For the grittiness that they're trying to convey, and then there are these grand ideas being thrown around. Like there is a real Batman and Joker thing going on between Luther and one of the Crims. Like they have the same discussions. Like it's, you're one bad day away from being me.
Ooh.
So, but I don't know. It's enjoyable, and who's the chap that I really like? Sean Pertwee's in it in the second episode. He's fantastic. Oh no, that's my phone. I feel so unprofessional.
Oh, you should watch Gotham as well if you like. No, Sean
he's
Pertwee's not in there, is he?
Yeah. He's Alfred, isn't he?
Yeah, I can never remember which one he is.
His dad was John Pertwee. He was Doctor Who.
Yes.
And actually, Paul McGann is in Luther, and he was the 8th or 9th Doctor. I can't remember because they shunted them all, didn't they? So.
As long as he was before 9, it's fine. Because the numbers are only like shunted after that.
Okay. Anyway, so that was The Handmaid's Tale, which was excellent, and Dollhouse, which was alright, but not brilliant. Our next episode, I'm looking forward to, because I don't know if you know anything about The Sinner.
Is it happy?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh no, you've told me what happens at the start. It's not happy, is it?
It will introduce you to one of your favourite detectives you've ever seen on telly. It's so fucking good. And so we're doing The Sinner and The Affair, which I believe has got one of the Dominics in it. Is it Dominic West?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, we'll cross that bridge.
I don't know anything about it. I'm really enjoying this fight. For the first 4 episodes. Actually, up to episode 6 of this year, I've not seen any of these shows before.
I had seen Young Ones and Spaced, obviously, but yeah, and Sinner. But apart from that, yeah.
And then we hit episode 6, seen both of those, and then there's a bunch of this year's got a bunch of stuff that I haven't seen, interspliced with some UK stuff that I have seen.
Wicked. Alright, well thank you very much for listening. You can get in touch in all the various ways if we can be bothered to check it. If you like this,
I do check
Co-Directors.
it. I genuinely do check it.
Oh good, I'm glad you do. If you like this, check out our new podcast, Co-Directors, which is similar theme. We talk about directors' first films.
It's
Fuck
like
you,
co-pilots
you're part of it
with
too.
Films. Yeah, no, that's true, I am.
Co-pilots with films. That's it.
Film pilots.
Cool. This has been fun.
Pilot
Richard,
films.
a pleasure, as always.
There's no cure for being a cunt.
Merry Christmas.
Wait, what?